This is Stephanie with Hightower Stitching. Today's video is part 2 of the 2.5-inch strips with a partial seam. Today I'm going to look at the construction and actually how I've been sewing this together, because you can see I've already got 20 blocks made, and I'm going to make 5 more, I think, so that it'll actually be square. But let's just start and look at the pieces. We have the 2.5-inch by 6.5-inch long strips, and then we have 2.5 by 4.5-inch, the short strips that go on the top. And what I figured out was I cut light pieces and dark pieces of both types of fabric. And usually if I cut, for example, this gray piece of long, then I'd cut a gray piece of short, or more than one. If you have a material that you really like, go ahead and cut several of those pieces, because you'll want those to show up more in your quilt. And I want to remind you that yellow is a dominant color. And we look back at that quilt in a minute, and you'll see that the yellows really show up. So then what I did is I got a bunch of strips done. I didn't do all 160 and 80. I just went ahead, and when I got a good number ready, I started pairing them up. And at first I was trying to be real careful, and all of it, then I discovered that light and dark together works well. Light and dark, and the other one is similar. As you can see, this one down here with the flowers, and it goes together. So the first thing I did, after I got my pairs put together, I went ahead and stitched those, and I pressed them open. I went in and pressed the whole stack, and it went really fast. I was doing this on the machine now. If you're hand sewing this, it's still going to go fast. And I would still go ahead and do those 6.5-inch strips. Once you get that done, you're going to match each of those to one of the shorts. And here's some where I've just started. And one of the things there is to have dark pieces and to have light pieces. And you see, as I've just laid these out in a crazy kind of way, some of them are darker and some of them are lighter, and that's going to be important when you put your quilt together. So let's go to the machine. Let's go ahead and review how we're going to put this together. We're going to do the first part with that 4.5-inch square, and I didn't like the bleak look of the white in the middle, so I went ahead and found a material with cream and a pattern and used that. The first piece that we have is your double, and this time I just happen to have a dark, and remember on our rotation that the short piece goes down there. And then the next piece I'm going to pick up, and I'm going to show you that it lays up there, and the dark, or whatever color your short one is, goes over there. And then there goes the next piece, and that piece is up at the top. And then the very last piece that we're going to add is right here, and I've got this piece going out. And then you're going to say, that's really a crazy combination. But once you put them together, you're going to be really surprised how they look. The only thing I see now that I might want to change even before I start is I've got 2 dark panels right here. And I think I'm going to try switching those around. Yeah, that looks more balanced. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with that center block where I've got the partial seam. And I've already folded my fabric, so I've got a crease. Here's the top edge. I'm going to lay this over on that top edge. And I'm going to put this pin here because that's where I'm going to start, and I'm going to run out. So I'm just going to turn it around, pop it on the machine. And it's going to look like a little flag when I open it up. And you can see there's the part that's not sewed down. So now I'd go ahead and open that. Just finger press it. This is what's nice about using cotton. Finger press it. Then I'm going to reach over to the next one that we had laid down. And here's one of the things that I wanted you to really see is, remember, this one was going to go to the right. You have two seams that are going to match front and back on the two pieces. And so take and lay those together. Now I opened my seams. You don't have to. But make sure one goes one way and one goes the other if you're not opening them up. And then I'm going to pin it with my angle pin right here. I'm just going to angle that pin. And you have one more seam, which is right here. And I was actually pinning on the other side, but it doesn't matter. But the main thing is to get that first one, and you'll see in a second. When I open it up, if you look right at that intersection, you're going to see it hit just right because I laid them on top of each other and pinned it to be in place. That was one of the biggest things that I found that makes it look really good, because from there you do the same thing. You pull your next piece and it's going to go this way. And you can see where the two seams are that you want to have match. So you just flip that over there. And then what I started doing was I just started flipping it back so I could see both of the seams at the same time where they want them open. Pin that with my pin diagonally. Come down, and I would have finger pressed part of that. And pin it so it'll stay open a minute till I can get to it. And then I'm going to be ready to go again. Let's do this one more and see how we did. I'm going to look under, make sure it's laying open. Make sure my square's together. All right, let's see how we did. Okay, you open it up, and there it is. All right, I'm going to take and put the other piece on, and I'll be back in a minute. All right, when I open it up, I've got the last piece on, and my corners just, my pieces come together great. So now we're back to the very end where I've got that flapping piece, which is our partial seam. So I'm just going to take and fold this whole thing back. And now I can see when there. I want to start there and go down, but I also have one of those seams that I want to have match up. That's why I was showing you these things, so you can sort of learn from what I did. And then I'm going to have one right there, and I'm going to start back up here at the partial seam and stitch all the way to the bottom. And we should have a very nice square in the middle, right where we wanted it. If you look at that, that's about as good. Of course, after 20 blocks, I did pretty good on that. And down here at the bottom, that matches up just like I wanted it to. And when I started out, I was being very, very careful with my colors. And as you can see, those pieces that look like they would never go together have really made a cute block. And it's ready to be pressed and put down on the floor. So now I just have 4 more to do to finish up this part. I hope this has helped you. This is Stephanie at Hightower Stitching, and you enjoy this block. If you learned anything or enjoying this, please subscribe. Hit like, and I love to see comments. Thank you.